Business Navigators has developed over 20 processes that we've worked effectively in the last 13 years in 28 different industries. While we started in the contracting business with heating and cooling contractors, we've expanded into a lot of areas. I'd like to share today with you one of our most important core systems, and it's what we call the IBS process. IBS stands for issues, barriers, and strategies. And it's probably one of the most effective things we do. It's a method of you and your company taking a look at all the issues you've got, taking a look at every single issue that you can think of, and narrowing those ideas and issues down to the most critical few, the 20% that if you worked on them would give you 80% of the results. Once you've identified that most important issue, then you can take a look and see what barriers there are stopping that issue from being effective within your company. And once you've determined the critical few barriers that need to be addressed, well, then you need to look at strategies and to see what strategies will most effectively reduce or eliminate the barrier, freeing that issue so that you can be successful as a company. The process is easily learned by managers and employees and used, as a matter of fact, in over 160 companies currently. This is the way the process works. There are 3 phases. Those 3 phases are the issue phase, the barrier phase, and the strategy phase. There are 4 steps in each phase, and they're the same 4 steps. So once I reveal to you those 4 steps, you should be able to use any one of the 3 phases. The first step is what we call the idea explosion. In our process, what we do is we use 3x5 cards and pin them to storyboards, bulletin boards. They're passed out, or thrown, if you will, to the participants in the meeting, and those participants then write one idea per card. Actually, we suggest they print, not write, and use cursive. What they do then is to pass those cards up to the facilitator who pins them to the board. And so in 4 to 7 minutes, 15 people easily come up with 45 or 50 issues that they think are most important to be dealt with. So we've exploded from one single idea, what's our issues, to all 100% of the issues that we could have to deal with. Now what we want to do is narrow that down to the critical few, to the 20%. And the way we do that is the next step first, which is the one-aways. What we do is we put those cards on the side of the board, usually the left side, and we pick up just one card and we move it away, one away. We pick up the second card and decide, does it belong with that first? Sometimes people written the same name of a card, so those would all go in that same pile. Sometimes what people do is they have ideas that are related. That is, the strategies used to help one will help the other. The company lost money. Now that's separate from imagination or tracking. Need profit. Wouldn't you say that's about the same thing? We lost money because of barriers, we need profit. Extra cost, probably that's the same type of barrier. The economy isn't we lost money, it's just the general state of the economy, and so I think that we need to see that as a separate thing. Structure, guidelines, tracking, so that's the same, basic. Too busy? Well, I don't think that fits in any of those categories, does it? I think it's a new category. And so we narrow down the ideas into groupings, and that's in the one-aways. And what we do then is we take a look at those groupings, and we realize we started out with 50 cards, and now we may have 24, 25 different groups. Now we've narrowed it down a little further. The next thing we do, the next step, the third step, we call lobbying. It's like lobbying in Congress. We just express how important we think ideas are. And in fact, what we do is we ask each participant to reveal the card they would vote for, the card they feel is the most important issue in the pack. And because, why, because, why, because, why. And then what happens is we point to a person and say, what card would you vote for? And they lobby for their card. What happens then is that other people listen to the becauses, and they may change their idea of their vote because of what people have said.
Like a new, and I'm not saying this one's bad or nothing, it's just if you had new signage, time reacting, heating and cooling, and on each end of it where it would be lit up like an encased kind, where I don't know what you would call it, it's backlit.
You can see the, you see the one on
Carry
the
the Brian.
job and determine how much has to be done. But every job before you go out, it should be looked at.
There's a lot of safety issues that are going to come into play on that everybody needs to know up front what they can do and what they can't do. It's not a job where you can just walk on the job and go down in there.
Finally, what happens is the horse race, prioritization by horse race. After we've lobbied the ideas, we put the cards at the bottom of the board and in the piles, collections they have. And we point to a person and say, what card would you vote for? And when they vote, we pick up the card and lift it up one level, one horse length. If someone votes for the same card, it goes up 2 or 3. And in that way, by the time we've gone around the group, we've prioritized the cards from the highest, who won the race at the top of the board, to the lowest. Sometimes there are horse races or runoffs, and those are held separately, and we have fun. In fact, we have fun with that whole section. When we finish, what we've done is we've taken all the issues that a company or a group may have and narrowed them down, first by the one-aways, secondly by lobbying, and then finally the horse race, to the critical few. We take the most important issue, and we move to the second phase, the barrier board. And when we move to the second phase, what happens is first we have an idea explosion. On the principle, what are the barriers that stop this issue from being fully developed or used in our company? And then what we do is one-aways, by collecting them in groups, lobby, and finally then the prioritization by horse race. And we end up with the 3 or 4 critical barriers that are stopping us from doing as good as we could. Take the first, most important barrier. And what we do is we take it to the strategies board. And again, we say, let's write strategies that if we implement it, if we change the way we're doing things today to do it differently, would that in fact reduce or eliminate that barrier and free that issue to be complete? We explode the ideas of the strategies. We collect them in groups by the one-aways. We discuss it through the lobbying process and finally vote and end up with the 2 or 3 strategies that, if we were to implement, make all the difference in the world and our company. We've just shared with you our IBS systems, our issues, barriers, and strategies system. And we hope that you understand that when you finish this, you will have gone from, I don't know what issue is most important to my company, all the way to here is the strategy that if we implement tomorrow will start to make our corporation better. It's part of the 20 or more processes that Business Navigators has available today.